Timberwolves go up 2-0 against the Suns as they get the 12-point win at home. They take care of business in both home games to open this series, which is something I really thought was important. I didn't want us to get behind early, have to be fighting back in this series, as that's kind of been the trend game to game for the team, is having poor starts and then constantly having to catch up. And so not having to do that in the grand scheme of the series, I'm so thrilled about. Individually, I'm feeling pretty powerful with my t-shirt selection. On this day, I wore both the Mike Conley shirt while the game was on and also the JaDen McDaniels shirt throughout the day. Both these boys seriously step up. Mike, in the first half especially, giving us good scoring punch, just extreme efficiency, big-time floaters and jumpers. And JaDen McDaniels all throughout the game, two-way performance and a career-high 25 points for the playoffs, career high. Absolutely balling, hitting big jumpers. He was someone that I thought his offensive game could really pop, percolate, and elevate in the playoffs because of how he gets his shots. I mean, he's got that close and mid-range jump shot that's so smooth. He can elevate great on that, likes to fade away, and can also play really slow and off of 2 feet well. So even when there's tight defense, things get slow and bogged down, he can still get shots that he's comfortable with, much like a Kevin Durant, who he's matching up against, playing spectacular defense on, and showing you little flashes of that. Of course, not the same touch or consistency of KD. He's got many realms to go if he were to ever get there, but he brings so much and was so impactful through this game. JaDen is a serious X factor, and we've had some really impressive wins now. Game 1, I mean, we don't have Conley playing. He plays a horrible game, was 1 of 10 shooting, and we've got all types of struggles in Game 1, but end up popping through the second half with Anthony Edwards' brilliance. And then in Game 2, we have Ant going 3 of 12 from the floor. Not a strong night out of our alpha. And then Karl Anthony Towns has one of those games where he picks up 3 fouls in the first quarter, has to sit the entire second. He's having turnover problems as well. He has 4 fouls, 4 turnovers for this game, although he gave us a great scoring punch to start the third quarter, which is where we finally started to separate from the Suns. As we were trailing by 1 at half, our offense was pretty abysmal through long stretches of that first half. But that's the thing with this team right now. I mean, we've had the best defense in the NBA all year long, so we're in like every game, even when we look dysfunctional and incapable of scoring or doing things competently on the offensive end. Things don't get away from us much. And look at what these stars in Phoenix have to deal with. Imagine being guarded by JaDen McDaniels or Nickeil Alexander-Walker, just hounded by these elite perimeter defenders. If you can finally get past them and all that length, quickness, physicality, your reward is Rudy Gobert at the rim, unless Nurkic has just been shoving him under the rim and trying to get some of those Gortat screens on him. Shout out Mind the Game podcast. But like, imagine the toll that would take on you throughout a full series. It's just been 2 games, and think how exhausted these Phoenix Stars have to be with dealing with that already. And even if you're not getting those elite defenders like McDaniels and who are the other ones you get? Mike Conley or Anthony Edwards? That's not fun either. Especially Ant, like on ball. Man, he suffocates you, really tries to get into you, be physical. He's not afraid to pick up some fouls because he's making you uncomfortable. And that's got to drain you through a series. Like, I feel like we're almost going to get better as these go on, as long as, well, I don't really know. That's just my theory early on here, is that this defensive pressure and how difficult it is to score, how wearing we are with our physicality, has got to just kind of make us better as things go. And then we're kind of winging it on offense anyway and just taking what we can get. And so if we muck things up, I think that's a good thing. Although I will say there was some gorgeous off-ball movement, especially in the late stages of this game, where we've got people flying all around, opening up, so many screens happening at the same time, top of the key. And I mean, a lot of the ball movement and player movement was beautiful to watch, which is something that when that's on with this team, we've kind of got everything opened up and popping. And this was one of those games. It was fun. Took a half to happen, as is often the case with this team. But I say all this Timberwolves team needs is 8 good minutes of basketball, and that's it. We can be pretty shitty, pretty incompetent for a lot of it as we struggle on offense, but defense travels, defense carries on, and that's why we had such a great road record through this season, and that's why I'm feeling a lot better about this series. I said coming in prediction with the regular season outcomes of the Suns, I'm like, probably Suns in 6. And, we'll say that my prediction is still that because things have been going pretty well with that as my prediction. Prove me wrong! Prove me wrong, Timberwolves. Keep it up, keep it up. That was my message after last game. I hope that continues. Things will change being on the road. However, we're a great road team. You bring that level of defensive intensity and you give yourself a shot. We'll say theoretically maybe my prediction would be Wolves in 6, Wolves in 7 now. But let's just say that I still believe Suns in 6. So these performances don't slip up. But stars were bad in this game for us. And we still pop off and win that one pretty handedly. Game was less close than the final score. We got people stepping up. Nikhil, big minutes throughout that game, filling in everything that we need from him. What a grinder. Skilled player. Insane defender. And, dude, man, Ant and JaDen, I'm never going to put a ceiling on what those dudes can be because you see glimpses of them just doing insanely special things. And if we can just kind of limp along to the late stages of the game, I often think that Anthony Edwards can just step up in those times. Even when he's had a really bad game like this one, you see him pull up for a transition 3, which is a shot you probably hate, especially for someone that's not been hitting through this game. But dude's a home run hitter. Happy to have him. 2-0 makes me feel a lot better than I was feeling going into this series. It's far, far, far from over, but the start we needed. Next game's on Friday and then Sunday for the 2 in Phoenix. All right, catch you up on that. Peace out.